Mind Gap Podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to Mind Gap Podcast. I'm Doug.
I'm Justin, and Doug, got a big question for you today.
Yeah?
This one's got some meat on the bone, okay?
Oh, lay it. Give me that meat. I'm going to eat it off the bone. I hope it was smoked all day and it just falls off the bone because I'm going to suck it off.
If we can't remember the things we've read and watched and even loved, do they still, quote unquote, count?
Count towards what?
Towards us.
I didn't
And
anticipate
what it
the
makes
follow-up
up.
question here.
No, this is based off of an article from New York Times from a couple weeks ago. And it's by Melissa Kirsch. And it says, "Good morning. If we can't remember the things we've read, watched, and even loved, do they still count?" And basically she goes into talking about how there's so much that we consume nowadays that if we can't remember the details of something that, let's say, a book that we read that we really loved, like a year later, we can't remember it. Did it really have that much of an impact on us? Did it count in our lives? Did it help to shape us in any way, shape, or form? Because we're consuming so much, she likens it to her computer's memory is getting full. And whereas with a computer, she can go in and delete files and free up memory. She's like, with your brain, you can't really, it's hard to delete files. So things just, long-term memory gets affected. So to that end, the question remains.
I would say I think it still matters. Why am I sticky?
That is...
How brave is that? My hand's sticky and I'm licking it. Why am I sticky?
Well, that proves that you're a parent because you don't care anymore.
I think it's honey.
That needs to be the title of the show, of the episode.
Why am I sticky?
Why am I sticky?
Okay.
Episode 463. Why am I sticky?
Apparently I got honey on myself.
Can I ask you a follow-up question on that?
Sure.
Did you eat honey today?
I did. I had honey.
Good. All right. Thank God.
With some yogurt. So
that would have made it even worse if you had not eaten honey today.
Yeah, very strange. Be like, why is there barbecue sauce? I haven't had barbecue in days.
Uh-oh.
It's fresh. Uh-oh. The barbecue bandit's here. You just been barbecued.
That's a villain I can get behind.
Right. I think because there is so much content, there is so much competing for our attention that sometimes it takes a lot more for us to for something to be impactful, or you have to rewatch or reread or reconsume stuff to get refreshed on it. Because there's certain things like, and part of that for me is the joy. I love rewatching shit. I love going back and rereading like my graphic novels and things like that. Because I remember the general premise, but for some of the things like there's some movies I've rewatched where I'm like, I don't fucking remember any of this.
Right.
And for good reason. It's not a good movie.
Right. Well, but to that end, like she says here that she's rewatching a TV series that she remembers liking a lot in 2022. She's rewatching it now because she can't remember even the broadest outline of the plot.
I don't know if I've had that happen, but
I definitely have had that happen where I do feel like I consume so much that it's in one out the other. And I think that's partially like the Instagrams, the TikToks, the mass quantities of being able to stream, and also a lot of these streamers dumping again all the shows at once. Like you used to be forced to remember week after week, hold on to a little bit of that plot line, what happened the previous week when the next episode would come up the following week. And with everyone just dumping everything, I feel like we have lost the ability to flex that muscle.
It's true. As far as like learning goes, the idea is not to, be like, all right, here you go. Everything you need to learn over the next 2 days, go. Like it takes repetition and time for it to sink in, to seep. You have those conversations after episodes. You're having it'll sink in more than the binging, which, I love to do because
I don't get me wrong. I love the
I don't
binging
want to
too.
wait. I don't want to wait for a week to continue. Go fuck yourself. Just give it to me now.
And that took a turn.
I know, right? Double entendre. I don't know. I think because the market is saturated, there's also just a lot more shit out there. There's a lot more things that aren't as good and
that are vying for your attention,
and maybe not as meaningful, or maybe they don't, a lot of this stuff, they're just pumping out all sorts of stuff left and right because content, they got to make it and whatever. So I don't know. It's also the same thing. Like back in the day, it's like, we have 3 channels. It's like, cool. This is all you get to watch. So,
right.
enjoy what's there. So it's kind of like the pendulum is swung to one big direction. But I feel like personally, there are definitely content, books, movies, shows and stuff that I absolutely love and adore. And I've rewatched to the point where I think I've thoroughly committed it to memory. So many of the movies that I've watched so many times. Like I literally was thinking today about, there was a moment, and I'm listening to the audiobook, Dungeon Crawler Carl. Amazing. I'm on book 5. It's so fucking good. But there's a part where Carl is gearing up for a big moment, and he takes a moment. And it literally says how he takes a deep breath, closes his eyes, and he prepares. And I thought of that scene in Aliens where Ripley at the end of the movie is getting ready. She's going down the elevator. She's locking in all of her ammo and stuff. She's getting her flamethrower ready. She gets her hair up. She's holding everything. And right before the door opens, you watch her close her eyes. She takes a few breaths. She's breathing in. Then the door opens, and then she's all focused. I'm like, that's a scene that's just seared into my mind. Like, I fucking love that movie. I love that scene. Ripley's such a cool character. And especially in that moment, how terrifying to be like, I'm going into the den of the aliens to get this child.
Into the hive. And
this place is going to blow up really soon. And she's like, I'm not going to fucking leave her behind to suffer some horrible fate. She's like, I'm just refusing to do it. I'm like, God damn, that's brave. Like, God, holy shit. And she just breathes in everything and then just fucking goes to town. And I equated it with that scene in this book where I'm like, this guy has a similar thing where he's like, I got to hop into this shit. I don't have a choice. And this is going to happen. I got to be ready. And I'm like, I equated that because I love those moments that just stand out to me. There's some comics that I want to reread again, like Lock and Key. Amazing story. I don't remember all the details. I remember how it ends. I remember some different parts, but I want to go back and reread it. And the Fables saga, God, it's 22 trade books. It's amazing, but such a great thing. I'd love to go back and reread that stuff because it is so good. And, rereading books sometimes that's tough for me, especially you got a 800-page Stephen King book. You're like, nah, I remember it. I remember it enough.
I remember it enough. Yeah,
I'm fine. I don't need to go back and read it. I mean, I have Wikipedia, I can always just go to that and refresh myself. But long-winded answer to that is, I mean, if you can't remember them, were they that good? Is that a hot take? I don't know.
It might be a hot take. I personally, I find myself for example, Dungeon Crawler Carl, right? Which is not an easy title. Let's start there. It's just not easy to. I want to recommend something. Dungeon Crawler Carl.
You got to say it slowly and with deliberate intonation. Dungeon Crawler Carl. That's like a, Sunday.
It also feels like when you have to warm up before an improv exercise.
Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Red leather, yellow leather, Dungeon Crawler Carl.
But to case in point, you were last episode you were talking about it, and I had forgotten that 2 episodes prior that was your recommendation. Mm-hmm. I was going back looking for something in our notes, and I was like, oh fuck, Doug recommended this 2 episodes prior to that. And I completely I do feel like I've consumed, or I am consuming so much information on a daily basis. And more than anything, I do blame Instagram for affecting my ability to retain. I do think that I have broken part of my brain with Instagram, just that doom scrolling and everything is so quick and disposable. I do think part of my brain is broken, the memory part of it, because I couldn't remember within 3 weeks' time. I couldn't remember that, this is something that Doug recommended and he's been reading it. It was like you were telling it to me for the first time last week. And so this resonated with me when I read this article, because I was like, I absolutely feel this. Like this author was saying that they initially thought, age, sure, that's the old joke that we were getting older, we can't remember stuff. There was a potential dulling of people's like sharpness when COVID came around, because we all got stuck inside and we weren't, I definitely feel like I've lost a little bit of that. Like when you and I were in improv and we were we were so quick and we could just go and like come. I struggle to recall words now. I find myself struggling more or having to work harder to recall certain words and keeping trains of thought. So the author said that they thought, maybe it was to do with COVID, but then they started to see it more and more happening. And like she was talking about the cultural omnivores, like the people like Jill, who's got a book Instagram, like people who document everything that they consume, partially for content's sake, but
for
also
fame.
Partially, yes, exactly. Because we all know that's the only reason Jill is reading anything. It's just for fame. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, we need to talk about it. But
check her out on Goodreads.
But, part of it I do think too is also just cataloging what you've done so you can remember. Like she's going through so many books. It'd be impossible for her to remember every book that she's read if she didn't catalog it. Like there's just too many books to remember. So
yeah, I also feel like
I find myself in that in relating to what this author is saying.
Yeah, I feel like also as we become adults, we're just responsible for so much more shit that there's more stuff on our mind all the time. Like just trying to think of a daily task list of things that you have to do.
Oh,
sometimes it's whereas I go to Natalie, Natalie's like, let's play this memory game. And she just wipes the floor with me on it because I'm like, what do you have to remember? Nothing.
That's fair. Yeah.
You have nothing to worry about, which is the joy of being a child. And I hope she hangs on to that for as long as she possibly can. But I'm like, yeah, what do you have to remember? You're working on your times tables right now. Oh, okay. Of course you're going to remember all that sort of shit. But when you're like looking at yourself, Jill's like, Natalie's like, I can't wait until Halloween is how many days away? I'm like, as an adult, I'm like, that's just a couple of weeks. And for me, my weeks fly by. Like,
yeah, you look at something like that and you're like, it's screaming towards us.
Yeah. She's like,
we
Dad,
don't have time.
She's in a musical right now. She's like, they just started today. She's like, Dad, that's in 12 weeks. I'm like, that's not that far away, man. I'm like, that's December. I was like, December's not that far away. Like,
it's going to be on top of us before you know it.
It's almost, it's like wild how much that happens. So yeah, as a child, memory games, I'm always like, let's play. If you want to feel good, let's play a memory game because you're going to beat me like all the time. But yeah, it's so difficult to maintain every little thing that we're responsible for as responsibility increases. But again, I think we're saying the same thing, is that our minds are flooded with information. With tasks,
there is more,
with fun things, with whatever, and it's so hard to maintain that to the point where we're like, have I seen that? Have I read that? See, for me, my brain works like, that's important. We need to remember everything we've ever read, watched, or whatever, and I forget other things like, what's your name? Like, you have a birthday? Like, I don't know. Like, that sort of stuff I just don't retain. But God damn it, I will hold on to the year that Avengers came out. Like 2012. Same year as The Dark Knight Rises,
Right. And I think Drew and I helped with that, because, I literally cemented it on your wall in front of, you stared at it.
2008, Dark Knight came out, same year as Iron Man. Like, just those dumb things stick in my brain. I'm like, who cares?
Pop culture things that you have pulled, deep references that you will pull out. That every time you do it, they shock the hell out of me.
It's stupid. It's part of me is like, I hope someday I'm in some sort of trivia and I can fucking finally pull that out and use it and be like, ta-da, it was worth it.
Yeah.
To not remember Natalie's friend's dad's name, So when I see him, I'm like, hey, and I call him by the wrong name, and I'm like, fuck.
See, that's you gotta just lean into the what's up, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
I do.
Hey, pal.
But I also it feels really good when I'm like, hey, what's up, Marty? And I'm like, I fucking got it this time. I did it.
Do you use, when you try to remember people's names, and this works, it works for me if I know I'm going to see them within like a month or so. Like if long term, it's touch or go because there's only so many of these that you can house. But I'll do like like if I meet someone and like say their name is like Carl, I'll be like, Carl, Dungeon Crawler Carl. Like I'll do some association with the name that I'm like, okay, I remember, Melissa McCarthy, for whatever reason, that name, I'll remember it. Like I do these little random like pop culture things that I'll assign people's name to. And I don't know why it works for me really, really well in a shorter window. Longer window, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Do you have any tricks to remember that? Like Natalie's dead? No, okay, great.
I should, but I don't. I'm just like, cool. Half the time, people say their name, and I'm like, hey, how's it going? They're like, hey, my name, and my brain just goes, hey. I've had
that happen.
And the minute has gone by, I'm like, I didn't get their fucking name. Fuck. Like,
they're like, hi, my name is, and all of a sudden you're just like, Avengers came out the same year as the Dark Knight Rises, and Iron Man came out the same year, and then you're like, oh wait, what?
I'm sitting there being like, I don't want to be here. 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 And then I'm like, fuck, I didn't get their name. So, yeah.
Have you tried the thing about repeating the name?
I've tried, but guess what? Doesn't stick.
No.
Not like 2008 Dark Knight, you know?
Yep.
This doesn't work. Well, let us know, gang, if answer the question. If we can't remember the things we've read and watched and even loved, do they still count? And also, do you have trouble remembering things? Are you young? Are you old? Let us know, because you got tips. I'll listen. I'm not too ashamed to say I'll listen. Thank you in advance for that. Quick reminder, gang, do us a solid wherever you're listening to this. If it's at youtube.com/mindgappodcast, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. My dog's trying to get in my door. And leave us a comment. I appreciate that. Some dog's going to get their ass beat in a second here. Be hilarious if it's Natalie.
Do you know which one?
Probably Bruno. Yeah. Loki will push on the door, but she doesn't scratch. Bruno's kind of like, hi.
Yeah.
So as I was saying, do us a favor wherever you're listening to this. If it's on Spotify, please hit us with a rating and a review. If you're on Apple Podcast, hit us with a rating and a review. If you're Good Pods, wherever you are, hit us with that rating, hit us with a review, and share us with your friends. Share us around. Spread that good word. We appreciate it. If you're checking us out on YouTube, hit the link in the description for a link to our Discord, for links to our Patreon, and links to our merch at Redbubble. We appreciate you. Da 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 da. Justin, you're a man.
Yeah. That's the last I checked.
So, have you ever thought about, maxing out your looks?
Doug, why do you think I go to the gym?
Yeah.
Why do you think you inspired me to go to the gym? Because you are fully, in my mind, you are fully look maxed. Okay.
Oh boy.
When I think of this term, it's Doug. And I aspire to be you.
That's very hilarious. Because if people look at me like, that guy, he's min-maxed his looks. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah, there's no getting better there. He's done.
And I say that like I gotta be like, in case people know, I'm super comfortable with who I am as a person. Like,
right.
I love making myself the butt of a joke because I'm comfortable with myself, which is why when people leave comments like, hey, you're bald, I'm like, yeah, I know. You look like Sloth from Ice Age. I'm like, okay, like whatever. Like,
which is bizarre to me because that's the one that we've gotten on more than one occasion. And yes. I don't understand how the internet just has picked up on this.
Here's the thing.
Weird...
I can kind of see it.
I can't though.
I can a little bit. I can a little bit. So
right.
When they do that, I laugh. I'm like, I kind of see it. So, I kind of get it. But when multiple people have come out, they'd be like, I need to leave a comment. Hey, this guy looks like Sloth.
I need to stop what I'm doing and leave a comment because I feel so
stop
strongly
the show.
about this.
I got to tell this guy he looks like the fucking cartoon version of a sloth in this kid's movie. But I'm super comfortable with my body. I think someone asked me that at my recent work event. It was one that we're trying to get to know each other. Like, what's your?
That sounds like an HR nightmare. Personally,
well, they said, what do you love most about yourself? I'm like, I love that I'm comfortable with who I am. Like, I'm very comfortable in my skin. I'm comfortable with my body. Like, I am who I am, and whatever it is, what it is. But I don't know how I got that way, but I did. But you know what wouldn't have helped is being, subjected to social media where you are just bombarded with all sorts of nonsense talking about the optimal way to look.
Yeah.
And listen, this is amplified countless times over for women, but I'm shocked that there's also this detrimental sort of stuff for young men. And we're talking about the phenomenon known as Looksmaxxing.
Harder to say than Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Looksmaxxing. You just got to slow it down. And say
it's spelled with a double X.
It is.
You can't hear it when Doug says it, but it's there.
Yeah.
2 X's. are there?
So this comes from an article called The Conversation from back in January of this year. And it's called Looksmaxxing is the disturbing TikTok trend turning young men into incels.
Fantastic article title.
But yeah, the way that this works is, first of all, there's just the amount of bullshit that's out there that talks to you like how to fucking work out, how to eat right, how to put on makeup, how to do whatever. Like, it's just so easy for people to be like, this is the way you should live your life. And most of the time it's fucking bullshit.
Right.
Or it's moderately true, but maybe not for you. And that's okay because everyone's a little bit different.
Right.
But they have two different versions of this. There's soft maxing, which is kind of like the fluffer stage of this, in which it's just basic hygiene stuff, right? Brushing your teeth and whitening. I love how it's like whitening. It's like weird.
Right.
Removal of face. That's such a weird sentence. Removal of face and body hair. I know it's like supposed to be facial hair, but it's like removal of face and body hair.
Right.
Just gotta take off your face off, you know? So probably like, trimming and things like that. And then mewing, which we'll get back to in a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is basically tongue exercises, which helps your facial tone muscles, which is bullshit. And then you progress to, once the fluffing is done, you progress to hard maxing, which improves your appearance by any means necessary, which is terrifying. Yeah. And some of those issues include steroid use, hair transplants, plastic surgery, using pumps for penis stretching, removing ribs for a sculpted waist, bone mashing, which, if you're not familiar, terrifying, involves using hammers to break bones in the face to look more masculine. What? You've got starve maxing, which is exactly what it sounds like. Extreme dieting and eating disorders. White maxing, which sounds horrible in many different ways.
Yep.
Involves using creams to present as more white. And
no, it's exactly what you think it is.
Yeah. And edge maxing, which is withholding climaxing in order to boost testosterone to improve appearance, which all of this sounds like a bunch of bullshit.
Right. And let's go back real quick and just to define looksmaxxing is like, it's one of those things where it's almost using the word in the definition. It is to maximize one's looks. So how can you be the best version, the best looking, the most desirable version of a human being, in this instance specifically, the most desirable version of a man that you can possibly be? And again, it's an entire industry that's been built up, an entire industry and subculture that's been built up around this. And it is specifically looksmaxxing seems to be targeting young men. And I feel like if I was a younger man, I could easily become susceptible to this because
100%.
I'm very happy that you are comfortable with who you are. Even to this day, I'm like 80% comfortable with who I am. Like, I still don't feel like I'm there. You know what I mean? So I have enough age.
Where does that 20% fall? Like, when you say you don't feel comfortable? We talking like you don't want to take your shirt off to go swimming?
I mean, I'll take it off, but I'm very self-conscious of it.
Okay.
Like, when I'll take it off, and the entire time I'm thinking I'm rolly. Like, you know, like I'm very just aware of how I think that I look. And I think that I do have, like, I'm not like super overweight, but I'm also not like tight toned and fit. So I'm sure that I have a little bit of body dysmorphia. I don't think that I'm as bad as I think I am, but I can see where as a younger man without, a little bit of age to be like, because like I'll get into my head about that, and then like the 41-year-old will take over, and it's like, fuck it, I've got enough age to say fuck it. But if I was younger, this would 100%. I would have gotten. I hope to God I wouldn't have gotten to the bone smashing phase of this. But I could see myself, being like, okay, I've got to do X, Y, and Z to look better. So like, But so for me, some of it is with the body, some of it is just just more just mental. And, I think you get in your head a lot about just what you look like, how you present yourself. And, do you seem like a chode or do you seem cool?
100%. When I was in the best shape of my life, when I was wrestling in high school, I still didn't see myself as being in shape, which is wild.
Right. Right.
Wild. I don't have any photos, unfortunately, like that I can easily access anymore. But I'm like, I would love to look back in that and just be like, dude, you look fucking fantastic. Like,
Right.
what are you talking about, dude? Like,
I had the same thing when I was training for the marathon.
Yeah.
First marathon, I think I dropped somewhere around 40 pounds.
mm-hmm.
And I was, I think when I ran the marathon, the lowest I've weighed as an adult was 166. The day I got
Mhm.
done with the marathon, I got home and I weighed myself and it was 166. And I still thought, and Beth was like, "You're insane." I was like, I've got a belly. And she's like, what are you fucking talking about?
Ever going to be satisfied. You're never
No.
really going to understand it in the moment because you're still going to look at yourself and see those imperfections, which is unfortunate because, you know, like, I don't know, there's moments where I'm like, hey, I feel good right now. Like,
Sure. Yeah.
I feel good. I feel it and everything. And I'm like, there's days I look in the mirror, I'm like, yeah, look at that. Like I got some new underwear that are a little shorter than the ones I typically wear. So it kind of accentuated
Oh,
my
Freudian
thighs.
slip. Yes, please.
My thighs. And I was like, hey, and I went into jail. I go, hey, I want to take a moment. I went, look at this. And I was like, bam. I go, doesn't that look good? I was like, look at these boys. Look at these hams, you know? I was like, bada bing with a pipe.
Celebrating yourself a little bit.
Yeah. You know, there's times where I'm like, hey man, my shoulders, these feel pretty fucking good, man. Like I feel like I got some stuff going here. And like I have moments. There's other times where I'm like, I don't know, man, I kind of feel gross, you know?
Oh,
I put on a shirt where I'm like, oh shit, is this one getting too small? I'm like, it could be because it got dried and it's a little tighter or whatever. But I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't feel so great anymore. But I'm also like, I found my equilibrium with my weight and I'm comfortable with that. It is what it is. And I also know I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay. Right. But trying to put that in the mind of a young person, it's like good fucking luck. So that when someone goes, hey man, you can really sculpt your jaw by doing mewing. And you're like, what's mewing? It's like, I'm glad you asked, potential incel. Because we're also going to come back to the incel part here in a minute because I think it's really important. Mewing is a slang term describing a quick fix method for facial reconstruction. It's supposed to make an individual's jawline look tighter and more sculpted, among other alleged benefits. So the way that this works is like you essentially take your tongue and you put as much as your tongue up to the roof of your mouth as possible, and the tip of your tongue should only just be touching the back of your teeth on the roof of your mouth. So as you do it, it's like you feel like it's
supposed to tighten and elongate in the jaw muscles. It's the fucking stupidest thing.
It's dumb. So it's one of those things where people just think that they can do it and somehow it's going to improve your jawline because having a strong jawline means that, you know, chicks are going to dig you. And I don't know. Like, I don't know what the optimal version of a man looks like. It's probably Chris Hemsworth. I don't know. Like, I couldn't tell you.
I would say, it's
Chris Evans. I mean, I don't know.
Something around the Ryan Reynolds, Chris Hemsworth arena. Why not?
Yeah, Hugh Jackman. Know? I mean, there's some dudes.
Dude, if I could look like that when I'm 54, if I could look half that when I'm 50, Jesus Christ.
They look fucking great, man. Like, I think they look fantastic. But also, like, people need to realize a lot of this comes down to your genetics. It's just,
well, it comes down to yes, it comes down to genetics, and it also comes down to the fact that, like for mewing, oral surgeons and dental experts caution that there's no evidence to support claims that it can reshape jaw structure and appearance or improve sleep and breathing. So basically, it comes down to genetics, but it also comes down to facts.
Yeah.
Where a lot of this is, again, don't believe everything you see on fucking social media, because Doug and I could easily start a trend right now about something that, you know, if you do this for long enough with a pen, you can increase the muscle, the tendons in the middle finger, which actually spread out through the rest of the hand into the wrist, and you can increase the grip strength and the wrist rotation and the torque you can get. So
and the people that do that in class, you'll be able to give a handshake that let people know that you're the alpha.
Absolutely. That's called Looksmaxxing.
Yeah.
But again, you can create any fucking thing that you want and throw it out there. You get enough people supporting it, and or you have the jawline naturally to back it up. There you go. You've just started a fucking trend. Yeah. This is the weird dark side of social media.
Yeah, because again,
one of the weird dark sides.
I want to emphasize a lot of this stuff is genetics. Like,
yes,
people are just gonna, and I'm talking about fitness stuff too. Like, some people are just gonna naturally build muscle easier and have less fat than other people. And those are the people that end up being influencers. They're like, just do what I do, man. And you're going to be great. And you do it and you fail. And you're like, God, I suck. It's like, not to write off entirely, but listen, genetically, I'm not going to be Ryan Reynolds. I'm just not. And that's okay. I'm not Ryan Reynolds. I'm Doug. And I'm going to do the best that I can with the body that I have. But I'm also comfortable with like, I'm not going to have a six pack and I don't want one, you know, like I don't need that because I also know the amount of deprivation I'll have to put my body through to get that sounds miserable. I want to eat. I want to enjoy life. You know, I want to, I want to enjoy most things. So, and that's okay.
I want to be able to bake you want to be able to bake your daughter a birthday cake and then enjoy some of that with her and not be
I just
like,
made some
you do that, I'm going to eat fucking carrots.
I just made some soft pumpkin cookies with a cinnamon glaze, and I just fucking tore through those over the weekend. They were so goddamn good. I think they're my new favorite cookie of all time, and I will be making more of them. Yeah. They were delicious. And I'm like, what am I going to do? Deprive myself of eating this delicious food out there? No, fuck that.
No.
You know, it's just like, they're like, hey, you know how else you can do this? Have gum. But it's not just any type of gum. It's like super special gum.
You're talking about mewing now again.
Yeah, mewing again. Yeah. Like, I have this special gum where you chew on it, and it's so hard to chew that it'll build up your facial muscles so you can have a defined jaw. And then the dentists go, what the fuck did you do to your teeth? As you chew on this cement and just rip out whatever you got going on there. And they're just like...
There is actual specialized gum called... Jocko? Yeah. Jocko jawline chewing gum. And it comes in different flavors. And the thing that if you read these reports and everything, the thing about all of this is that the influencers who are hawking this get kickbacks. If you click the 100%. Links or if you use their usernames or their promo codes, they're all getting kickbacks on this. So whether or not it actually works, if they've got the jawline and they've got the physique to sell it to you and you're buying it, like it doesn't matter if it works or not. They're getting their money. They're getting their kickbacks, and you're getting yelled at by your dentist, and you're paying thousands of dollars to have your teeth fixed. It's the fucking dark. It's the dark, seedy side of social media.
Holy shit! I'm on Jocko's website right now.
Are you? Oh God, I don't even know if I want to do this.
I love it. One of their articles in news, it says chewing gum, a simple habit that can make you smarter. And it shows like a beautiful guy like looking at a book. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Oh wait, I spelled it wrong. How do you spell it again?
It's JAWCKO.
CKO.
Chewing hard gum increases your metabolism. Oh, does it? Does it, Jocko?
I'm sorry, they're claiming that chewing actually increases. That's a workout.
It's a well-known fact that physical activity boosts metabolism. However, what if we told you that you don't need to run a marathons or lift heavy weights to get that metabolic furnace roaring? That's right, folks. Your everyday fidgeting could be your ticket to calorie-burning greatness. Which, by the way, I have heard that. I have heard that, like, fidgeting and stuff like that can do it, but what they're doing is they're taking that and they're being like, and then, you know, it could be part of that fidgeting? Chewing this fucking insane gum.
Right. Mighty Mint, muscle mango, jacked watermelon, and chiseled cinnamon.
Yeah. Also, everyone on this website
like jacked watermelon, they didn't even try on that one.
It's also one of those things like all the guys obviously that are shown on this page are just beautiful men, and they're like, they obviously chew this gum. It's like, no, they're just good-looking dudes, you know? Surprising health benefits of chewing gum. This is all bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. And it infuriates me to no end. Because it's such a, because this is one of those things, it's too good to be true. You're telling me I could look jacked just from chewing gum? Get the fuck out of here. No, that's not how it works. It's insane. Absolutely insane.
Well, again, dentists and doctors have come out specifically about this type of gum and said, do not do this. You're going to wreck your teeth. You could hurt yourself doing this. It's just not, you're not meant to chew things that are overly hard. It's the same reason they say don't chew on fucking ice.
Yeah. It ruins your fucking teeth.
You know?
So all this to say, like, I understand the pressures of, you know, wanting to look good and fit in and feel like accepted by society, which leads into, you know.
And also we're not saying don't work on yourself.
100%.
Like this
Just
is not a, this is,
don't think chewing gum is gonna get you where you need to go.
Right. Feel free to work on yourself and do whatever you need to do to get yourself to a point where you're happy, you feel good about yourself, but take everything that you see on here with a fucking grain of salt.
Yeah. Like the idea that you can chew gum as a quote unquote workout, that's insane. That's bonkers. That's just absurd. And the idea of like, you want to look good, you want to feel good. Yeah, man. Eat well.
Yeah.
Work out, go for a walk. All that stuff is good for you. But just the idea that, I don't know, man, when you see the people that are finding any way that they can to appeal to people so they can be sexually attractive to women. And I'm like, that is, I mean, I don't know, man. That leads to a very scary place. And the incel world terrifies me to no end because,
oh yeah,
you know, the fact that they look up to people like Patrick Bateman and fucking Tyler Durden,
right,
and Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. They're like, yeah, man, those are the guys that I want to be. You know, they're like
true
a
role
Sigma
models.
male, you know, they're the lone wolf. It's like Patrick Bateman is not a good guy,
right,
in that movie at all.
Not at all.
Yeah. He's according to this article, he is, and it's true, he's a shallow, manipulative, misogynistic, and extremely violent person. And they're like, that's the guy I want to be. It's like, no, you don't want to be that guy.
But he takes care of himself. So
yeah,
he does. He can't be
also
all bad.
kills people. And guess what? He also is absolutely insane. He doesn't know what's real.
But did he kill people, Doug? He
tried to feed a cat to an ATM. You know, like, it's wild.
But he
wild
takes care of himself. He really takes care of his skin.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Like, there's so many times articles and stuff where it's like people who look up to the character and for the wrong reasons. Like people who are like, you know, who's a really good, you know who my favorite hero is? Fucking Scarface. It's like, he's not. Antonio Montana's not a good guy, man. Like,
I think he missed the point of the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Like they like, fucking, Godfather. Yeah. Those guys are fucking good. I'm like, they're criminals. They're not good guys at all.
You know who I like? Saruman.
Yeah, Saruman. You know, Sauron. That guy. He had a vision.
Seems like he's really got his shit together.
He's just he likes jewelry, and people are like, hey, I'm gonna take your jewels. And he gives him a bunch of jewelry as gifts, and he's like, fuck you guys, you're not grateful, so I'm gonna control you all. You know,
seems like a natural leader too. People follow him,
right? Yeah, Thanos, man, he just snapped his fingers and all of his problems went away. You know,
that's
it's
right. Like Thanos muse.
There you go. That guy.
That guy's got a jawline.
Yeah.
They need to be using his image to sell this gum.
Right. Yeah.
If I could make one suggestion, Chijako chewing gum.
Yeah, right. I have Thanos. License Thanos for your stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So all this to say, if you're struggling with the way that you look, with the way that you feel, you're not alone. We all feel that way. And take it one step at a time and do the basic things, you know, work on your food intake, you know, figure out what your goals are. And, don't worry about the scale. Just feel good about yourself and you'll be all right. You don't have to
also say
some unrealistic idea of beauty. It's not worth it. You're going to be all right.
Right. There's one guy that I really do like following on Instagram in regards to health stuff. And one of the things he talks about is how he dropped like 100-something pounds and he got his 6-pack and he got like, he went there. He did the deficits and withheld from, and he got the body and he's like, and let me tell you something, I was still horribly depressed and hated myself. Yeah. And he goes, I got the body, and guess what? That wasn't the thing that I was struggling with, apparently. So to that end, yes, focus on all of that. Your calorie intake, just go out for a walk, get that straight. But at the same time, take some time to sit with yourself and figure out who you are, what you're looking for out of life, and just what makes you happy. Because it might not be a 6-pack. You think that, like, it's like me. Like, I think the more that I work out and the more that I try to get, to this ideal body type that I have in my head, I'm going to be happy. And every day that I don't get there, I'm like, maybe that's not the journey, So I think it's healthy to admit it's not always the outward appearance. You got to go in. You got to go inward.
Yeah. Find the love yourself. And remember, you're just a silly goose. All right.
Everyone's a silly goose.
You're just a silly goose.
Yeah.
You know what else is silly goose is fucking technology, man.
It's your mind gap motivational minute.
Yeah, man. There you go. Feel good about yourself, you silly goose. That's what we're gonna call our community now. We're the silly geeses.
The silly geese.
The silly goslings. The silly. What's a
Gooses?
gaggle of geese?
A gaggle of geese.
The silly gaggle of geeses. That doesn't make sense. Anyway,
We'll workshop it. Don't worry.
Saw
We'll
this horrifying article titled "Paralyzed Man Unable to Walk After Maker of His Powered Exoskeleton Tells Him It's Now Obsolete." So backstory here is there's a man. He is a former jockey who was left paralyzed from the waist down after a horse riding accident. But he was able to walk again thanks to a piece of robotic tech. $100,000 rewalk personal exoskeleton. So problem was, so great. So he's been doing this for like 10 years, right? He has his exoskeleton. He can walk. One of the parts, a small part, malfunctioned, and now the entire device has stopped working. This man reached out to the manufacturer, LifeWard, about getting it repaired, and they said, "Hey, your exoskeleton's too old. Can't repair it." So this guy posted on Facebook, his name's Michael Straight. He said, after 371,091 steps, my exoskeleton is being retired after 10 years of unbelievable physical therapy. The reasons why it has stopped is a pathetic excuse for a bad company to try and make more money. So there's a piece of wiring that has come loose from the battery that powered a wristwatch, which is used to control the exoskeleton. According to Michael Straight, he says this would cost peanuts for LifeWard to fix, but they refuse to service anything more than 5 years old. So he went on to say, I find it very hard to believe that after paying nearly $100,000 for the machine and training, that a $20 battery for the watch is the reason I can't walk anymore. So this leads to a terrifying idea of like, yeah, there's life-changing technology out there. But guess what? Corporations also exist in this future as well. And these corporations want to make fucking money. Mm-hmm. And when this shit breaks down, they're like, you just have to get a new one, man. Because they don't want you. It's like, hey, I remember a long time ago. Of course, it's in Missouri. I had a teacher that goes, they've invented the everlasting light bulb. They just don't release it because they can't make any money off of it. And I was like, that's kind of crazy. But also, like, obviously, there's no incentive to make a light bulb that never burns out.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Why would you do that? Because
that goes against the nature of capitalism.
Right. You're like, I've invented the light bulb that you will never need to replace unless you break it intentionally. It will never burn out on its own. It will forever just exist. There's no financial incentive to do that. No. And similarly with these things, they're like, great, you've had this exoskeleton for 10 years. Well, how are we still going to get money out of you? You know?
Right.
You got to get the new one.
Yeah. Well, and I think, again, like I understand from a, this is going to sound like I'm on the side of the corporation. I'm not.
I was already going to say,
stick with me for the journey.
Yeah,
stick with me on the journey. I understand from a technology standpoint as a company, like at a certain point, it does get hard to support every possible model. Like if you go out 20, 30, 40, 50 years, it gets real hard to continue to support really old models of whatever you're doing as you're continuing to move forward. That being said, as this article states here, in some cases, companies just shut down. Maybe they go belly up, and then you're just shit out of luck. And that's not the company doing anything nefarious. That's just them. They were either bad at business or whatever. But now you're left holding the bag. So again, they were saying that and not supporting older models. That's not necessarily the point. The point is the nefarious practices, as this article calls it, that they use to make the devices difficult to fix without their help. So if the company does not continue to support it, what they need to do is they need to make all like the plans and the parts and the whatever is needed. They need to make that more public and allow third parties to continue to support it 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the road, so that if the company no longer supports it, at least it's still available to be supported. There are other companies that can open up that, hey, we specialize in servicing things that the manufacturer no longer services. That just creates more opportunity, and it also helps these people. It helps the people like this man here who have this exoskeleton. What they're doing, and Apple is horrible about this. Like, this article calls it out, but everyone knows it too. Is they make it really hard for third parties to work on iPhones. You have to use Apple sanctioned parts, take it to an Apple sanctioned retailer, take it to, it just makes it impossible. So that kind of shit needs to be addressed, because that's really, at the end of the day, that's where the true issue lies, is that these people they're firewalling all of their products, and they're not allowing anyone else to service them, and they're making it impossible to do it yourself.
Yeah. It's one thing if, like, ooh, this phone no longer works, or, oh, my favorite live service video game is no longer alive.
They shut the server down. Yeah.
And someone goes, hey, here's the code, keep it going, whatever. Like, that stuff, fine. Yeah, you could argue, hey, my phone is my life in a lot of ways. This allows this dude to walk.
I agree.
I would like to say, I know we're on the same page here.
Yeah. I
would like to think, if as part of your organization, one of your mission, vision, and values would probably be to, like, hey, helping people walk again, life forward, right. But at the same time, you got to be like, this isn't a simple purchase. This isn't just, oh, this is a Bugatti, or a McLaren or a Ferrari, where we know who our clientele are. These are people that, I mean, yeah, they're going to spend $100,000 for the possibility to walk again, but that ain't cheap, man. That's not a lot of easy stuff. So I would like to think that you'd be like, well, if this is over 5 years, tough shit. It's like, no. There has to be a plan to be like, whatever we release, we will try to support as long as possible for these folks, because this is how they're going to be mobile. They're changing their lifestyle around the ability to use this technology to be able to move and to walk. And if you take that away from them, I'm sure there's some dirty bastard out there being like, yeah, but they're going to have to pay if they want to walk. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just someone that's doing the calculus. They're like, it's like you go to the airport and you're like, fuck, I got a bad boarding, seat and number boarding group. And they're like, you want to pay $20? Be the front of the line. You're like, I'll do that. Same principle. It's like, how annoyed do you want to be with not walking that you'd be willing to, I don't know, spend more money? It's like, yeah, okay, but I'm not going to pay another $100,000 for the same fucking technology.
Exactly.
So that I could, especially if it's such a simple fix, it's just so shitty for them to be like, hey man, we just don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. And I think that the part of this, like, in that promise or that mission statement, needs to be that if we don't, we will help other people. We will provide the resources for other people to support this. Like,
right.
Like, make it. I think they call it the right to repair law, and it's like they need to. It's where manufacturers aren't obligated to share their specialist parts, tools, or guides that allow third-party repairs to be possible. And I think that is something that we like. There needs to be focus on that, because it's not just with, phones or laptops or anything anymore. Like, as technology gets better and better, we are going to see more integration, more life-saving integration, or life-enabling integrations for human beings. And that is not something we can fuck around with. Like, that's not something that can be like, oh, your phone died, just buy a new phone. Like, to your point, it's $100,000. And most of the people who are getting these things are probably just average people. And they don't have 100,000 just to throw around. It's
got to be something similar to, like, patent law, right? Like, after a certain amount of time, that shit just goes to public domain.
Yes.
And for something like this, it's like, yeah, this is pretty important for people to know how to repair and adjust their stuff so they can fucking walk.
Absolutely. I would say make it real simple. If you as the company are going to officially sunset support for one of your products, at that point, it becomes the parts, the tools, and the guides become public. Mm-hmm. You can keep it, and you can work on it up until the point where you no longer officially support it, and then at that point you are legally required to open it up so that third-party suppliers can then pick up the ball and run with it.
Yeah, if you're not going to do the work to support it, then you have to hand it over to someone else who can.
Absolutely. Yeah. That is the more.
Can you imagine being like, oh shit, my thing stopped working that allows me to fucking walk.
Right.
And you're like, oh, you're just sitting there because, you're going to take the time to troubleshoot this shit. And you're like, oh, it's just a bad battery. And they're like, sorry, man, can't fix it for you.
Yep.
You're like, listen, I'm going to use all my power. I may not physically be able to get there very easily, but you bet your ass when I do get there, someone's going to be in pain. Yeah. Someone's going to be feeling the pain.
Yeah.
Because you guys, you're my partner in this. You're helping me walk. And if you're just going to say, sorry, man, we can't do it, you need to buy a new one, I'll be like, you can go fuck yourself. And I'm going to beat your ass.
And we talked about the dark side of social media. This is the dark side of capitalism.
Create the battery that's going to focus on me and how I'm going to power this, you motherfuckers,
I'm going to make an arc reactor, and I'm going to come back there. I'm going to blow you to smithereens is what I'm going to do.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. This is how Iron Man gets started.
It's
just a guy who's not able to walk who then's like, fine, I'll build my own. And then he built this in a cave with scraps.
Scraps. Best delivery ever.
I know.
But no, like I was saying though, we were talking about the dark side of social media. This is the dark side of capitalism, where you remove the there's a basic human element to let's just fucking help each other. And we've lost this in politics, and we've lost this in just general society, overall.
But what about the stock price, Justin?
Right, everything's about
what about the shareholders?
What about the almighty dollar?
Right?
Yeah.
It was like Uber going through the same thing Disney was, where they're like, hey, someone got in a really bad car wreck in an Uber. Like, well, your daughter used Uber Eats a couple weeks ago. And in that and using that, it says that there's an arbitration clause. Right. So sorry, guys, it's clear. It's like, me ordering food delivered to my house is not the same as me taking someone to drive me somewhere and then they fuck up and then I get hurt. It's not the same thing. It's like, technically in the eyes of the law, it's the same. It's like, fuck you.
Yeah, I think what we are missing is just a basic level of humanity. Like it's somewhere along the way we lost it, and we just need to find it again because it's bleak out here. It really is. This kind of stuff, I hear this, and I'm glad the social media rallied around him to get this thing fixed. But or to pressure the company into fixing it. But man, just to have to
shouldn't have to come to that.
No, it should not. To have to go through that every time is just fucking. It's
shouldn't
sad.
have to be like, oh, we got bad press. That'll also affect our shareholders.
Exactly. Just
we got to do something
thing.
now. It's the lesser of two money sinks.
Just do the right fucking thing. Yeah.
All right. Let's do something fun. Let's end this show on a fun note. All right.
God.
Justin.
Yeah.
It's been a minute and it's time. We're back again to see if Justin can guess the audio from that film.
Guess who's back?
Oh, bada bing.
0.7 seconds. We don't have to pay for it.
That's how it works. So if you're new to this game, I have some audio clips lined up. Some of them are sound effects. Some of them are lines from films. And Justin has to listen to them. And then he has to determine what film they're from. Simple, easy, peasy. Justin, one of these is a sound effect. The other two are lines.
You know my preference, so we'll see how I do.
Okay.
We'll see how I do.
We're going to start with one of the lines. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Here we go.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Go fuck yourselves.
No notes. Such a great line. Such a great line. That 100% is something I would say or write. I love that. I think I've done that joke before. Okay, so based on the accent and the background, the ambient sound in the background, or the music in the background, I'm going to say it's obviously I'm guessing it's a mobster movie of some sort.
It is not a mobster movie.
It's
but I know
not.
why you'd say that. I know why you'd say that. Mm-hmm.
Is it a period piece though?
It is a period piece.
Okay. Are we talking about back in the 30s? 40s?
What the fuck are you doing? Are you just searching for more clues here?
Yeah,
Listen to it again.
All right.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Go fuck yourselves.
Knock, knock. Who's that? Go fuck yourselves.
Like the important thing is, can
Boston?
you tell the actor? Because if you get the actor on this, I think you're in a good spot. You want to hear it again?
Yeah.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Go fuck yourselves.
I want to say Chris Evans, but that's probably wrong.
It's not Chris Evans.
Okay, yeah. Oh man, I feel like when you tell me who the actor is, I'm gonna kick myself.
Yeah,
because I'm
it's
silly
such a
little goose.
short. It's such a short bit,
Man.
But obviously, I know what it is, so I can obviously hear it. But
is the response the who's there? Is that is that someone, or is that just an extra that we don't?
That's just.
Okay,
it's another guy. He's an actor. I'm sure he does a lot of good work.
Yeah.
I don't know who he is, but
okay.
The knock, and then the delivery is the main.
God
the main
damn
character.
it! Oh, I'm stuck on this one. Give it to me one last time.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Go fuck yourselves.
Nope. Can I? I'm gonna make a random guess, and this is where I get in trouble in the comments because I've done this before, and I've guessed. I've described the scene perfectly, and then I'm like, but I don't know what it is.
All right,
but
describe it.
That's just called media literacy, is what that is. Does the next thing that happens is that he lays the hurt down on a bunch of people? Like, do people get killed? Is this him like showing up and killing someone?
No. After this, it cuts to a completely different scene. Literally, it's like he says this and it cuts.
After this, it cuts to a mall Santa and fuck, man. You know what? I got to give up on this one. I got to give up.
So I'll give you some clues to the scene itself. All right. It's in a car. Guess.
Oh, well, that's Mad Max.
So there's 3 guys in a car. 2 of the guys are complaining about how the character here, that is really well-known actor, is never like, he's always so serious all the time. You know, like he's like, oh, you want me here to tell you a joke? They're like, yeah, we'd love to hear a joke. And he's like, all right, knock, knock. Who's there? Go fuck yourselves. I don't know if that helps at all.
I feel like I've seen this.
They are federal agents.
Oh, God damn it. They're federal agents?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Look, I know the audience. The listeners they're screaming at their screens right now. It's not Michael Shannon.
It's not Michael Shannon. I'll tell you the actor and you'll probably get it.
They're federal agents. Oh, fuck. Just give me the actor.
All right. I'll tell you who directed it first.
Steven Spielberg. We'll do our normal 20 questions.
Steven Spielberg directed it.
Steven Spielberg directed it. Oh, man, I really feel like I should know this now. Spielberg directed it, Federal Agents.
Movie came out in 2002.
Fuck. Oh, man, I'm so out of practice on this game.
The cinematographer was Janusz Kaminski.
Oh! Sure!
All right. The big actor in that scene is Tom Hanks.
Catch Me If You Can.
Catch Me If You Can.
Catch Me If You Can. God. Absolute damn it.
Nice
damn
job.
It.
Nice job.
Damn
it. Good effort. I know it was such a small thing,
Woo.
but that's one of my favorite lines from that movie.
Honest to God, I think I've only seen that movie once.
Fair enough. So does it count, Justin? Does it count if you don't remember it?
Then obviously not. If I can't win the game based off,
I love it because they call back later on in the movie where he's having a dispute with his boss, who's like being really just obtuse, will let him do something, and he goes, "Hey boss, you want to hear a joke?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Knock, knock," and then it cuts before he gives because we all know what he's gonna say.
Yeah.
It's like, uh-oh.
Play it one more time. I want to see if I can hear Hanks's voice.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Go fuck yourselves.
Justin's face immediately goes, yeah, there it is. Knock, knock.
Well, and that's the thing, because we're going to get the comments on this are going to be, oh, I heard Hanks right away. I knew it right away. I knew it was Hanks right away. Yeah. And
so
to those people I say,
it.
and to those people who in the comments I say, knock, knock.
Yeah. Go fuck yourselves.
Go fuck yourselves.
All right. This one might be a little tough to hear, but actually, you know what? I'm going to switch it up. We're going to do a sound effect. Here we go.
All right. Here we go.
I didn't expect that reaction from you. don't know why it's so funny. I'm laughing because you're laughing.
That is a Tusken Raider choking on a dick is what that is.
Oh. Oh.
Oh, it was just such an aggressive sound to start with.
You know what? It really was. We went from knock, knock. Who's there? Go fuck yourselves to.
All right. Is it a Velociraptor from Jurassic Park?
100%. It's a Velociraptor from Jurassic Park. Well done, sir.
Oh man, I had to write myself first to be able to focus on what the fuck it was.
I was not expecting that aggressive.
I was not expecting that
soundbite.
Jesus, but you can hear the Tusken Raider choking on a cock, right?
100%.
Yeah.
We said that. I'm like, I do hear that.
Yep.
All right, this last one may be a little tough to hear, so we can play it as many times as you like.
All right,
but here we go.
Do you have anything to say?
It's very broken up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Play it again.
Do you have anything to say?
I can't, what is the second? Do you have anything to say? And then what's the answer to that?
Abracadabra.
Abracadabra. Wow. Is this one that you recorded like on your phone or something again? Like, did you? No.
I had to really boost the audio because it was pretty quiet.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
Wow. Okay. Give it to me. All right. So you have anything to say? Abracadabra, and then some sort of something happens. So give it to me again.
Do you have anything to say? Abracadabra.
Abracadabra. Do you have anything to say? Almost sounds like Ewan McGregor. But I know it wouldn't make sense. Abracadabra. This isn't the Prestige again, is it? Did you pull another Prestige?
It is Prestige. What do you mean the Prestige again? I haven't done any sound clips from the Prestige. We did a guess this movie in 5 words or less.
You sure you haven't done the Prestige?
Positive.
Really?
I did this as guess the movie in 5 words or less. It's a movie plot in 5 words or less. It was like Batman and Wolverine fight each other or something like that. You know?
Oh yeah, I think that's right. That was that's what it was. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Do you know what scene this is?
No, very much not.
You're just like abracadabra, magic, Prestige. So this is the part.
I know your love for this movie, and I know your love for Christian Bale. So like that was what it led. Abracadabra. I'm like, and that's why I almost didn't guess it because I thought we'd done it before. I'm like, he wouldn't be dipping back into the well again, would he?
You never know what I'll do.
I know you're a wild card.
I might just,
It's so aggressive.
It is. No, this is a scene where Christian Bale's character is got a noose tied around his neck, and they say, "Do you have anything you'd like to say?" And then this was obviously after he had shown a guard that how to get out of his wrist straps and stuff like that. He's like, "Everything you want to say?" And he says, "Abracadabra," and then they pull it and sharp drop, sudden stop. Spoiler alert.
I feel like that's another movie. I really enjoyed it when I watched. I've only seen it once, but I feel like I need to watch it again.
Fucking love that movie.
Yeah,
I've watched it many, many times.
I should go fuck a movie, man.
Hey, man, 2 for 3. Good job. Give yourself a round of applause, bud.
Thank you. I'll take it.
That was really good. That was fun.
It was a good time.
Super fun. And let us know, how did you do? Were you able to get all of them? I hope so. Otherwise, shut your fucking pie hole. Well, with that, Justin, what do you have to recommend this week?
Douglas, I'm going to recommend Guy Ritchie's film, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. It's with Henry Cavill, or Cavill, depending on how you want to pronounce it.
I think future Space Marine is what we're saying.
That's
hopefully.
right.
Hopefully
fingers crossed, if the studios are smiling upon us. But it's a big. Most Guy Ritchie films are fun, and this one is right in line. It's got just the right amount of action, just the right amount of humor, tongue in cheekness, and and just the right amount of swagger. I feel like every Guy Ritchie film, you got to have your main characters just have to have, they know what they're doing and they got some swagger while they're doing it. And so it's just a fun film. It's not going to change your life, but it is a really enjoyable watch. So I would say, and it's out there. I think it's on. Is it on Max right now?
It's on your butt.
Is that what it is? It's that the streaming service that it's on? It's on Hulu.
It's called Your Butt.
Go watch it. Go watch it. Or no. Oh, no, that's right. It's on Stars. So good luck watching it.
Yeah. Good
anyone.
luck.
If you can find it though, fucking fun movie. I would strongly recommend it. Have you seen this one yet or not?
No, I have not.
Okay, yeah. If you find it, for like rentable for $5, I would say it's worth $5 rent.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Doug, what do you got?
I talked about it last episode, but I saw the TV Glow. I've been thinking about it
Yes.
consistently since I've seen it. And I think that's always a good sign of something where you're just constantly like, man, what is it? It's a weird movie. I need to really preface that it's a weird one. But I found it to be very compelling and interesting. It's got Justice Smith, and he was only the only actor I was really noticed in it. But it's very unique. It's essentially, I'll pull up the synopsis because that's probably the better way to describe it. Because it probably, some marketing person put it together so it's good.
It's tight.
A classmate introduces teenage Owen to a mysterious late-night TV show, a vision of supernatural world beneath their own. In the pale glow of the television, Owen's view of reality begins to crack. So,
now, do you feel like that synopsis follows what you watched?
100%.
Okay.
100%. No shit, Fred Durst is in that movie? Get the fuck out of here.
That was the best reaction.
No fucking way. Hold on. Hold on.
Do you remember him?
Fucking clue he was in that. Who is it?
Who does he play?
He plays Frank. He plays his dad? I had no idea. He has like one line. Or 2 lines in it. I had no idea that was even him.
I feel like he has been in
the fuck.
He's been in a few things recently. Like he's what's this Y2K? Oh yeah. It's a satirical disaster comedy horror film directed by Kyle Mooney, recently or previously of SNL. Yeah, he's got a few movie titles under his belt.
It makes me feel sad now. But don't let that dissuade you from seeing this film because he's barely in it. But yeah, it's interesting. It's an A24 film. You can watch it on Max right now. Give it a shot. I'd love to talk to anybody about it that watches it. So that's my recommendation. Pew, 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 pew. Gang, thanks so much for hanging out with us. We always appreciate you being here, as always. Check us out at youtube.com/mindgappodcast to watch us. Put your eyeballs to work as well as your ears. And be sure to hit the link in the description for links to our Discord, to our Patreon, to our merch. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, share us with all your friends, and be sure to follow us on all of our social medias at Mind Gap Podcast, and check out Justin online as well.
On Instagram at Justin_Michael, spelled Mikel. It's the fun way of spelling it. And while you're in the online realm, anywhere where you can consume audio versions of podcasts, guess what? You can find us there as well. So go ahead and subscribe, rate, review, click the auto download button, share us around, do all the things that we ask all the time. One of the big ones is sharing. Please just let people know. Let one person know that we exist. Share it out to say, hey, one person, I found these guys. I like them. I think you'll like them. That goes a long way, and we really appreciate it. And then TuiStaith.com, TuiStaith on all social media, loveandimprovfilm.com, loveandimprovfilm on Instagram.
And with that, I'll say, Justin, thank you.
Douglas, thank you.
Viewers, listeners, thank you. And you all have a dandy fucking week.
Mind Gap Podcast.